I consider it my honor and privilege to be here.
Wow.
You don't say so much, later he say cannot go out the door. So can you share like one particularly tough decision that you have to make as a minister?
I've been coming here and answering your questions.
Through this podcast, we can say like we are friends, right? You can ask for your WhatsApp number.
No, Minister, I just want to have your number. I won't message you. In my heart, I feel like I achieved something.
Yeah.
Give his number is 999.
Don't give me office number.
Because if I want to form party, I will call it after party.
Don't turn off the screen at this point.
Rise and shine, brothers and sisters!
You know what? I'm going to be the host. And I'm going to host these three guys, Simon, Lukey, and Noah.
Yay! Wow!
First time.
Don't turn off the screen at this point.
You're there to turn off. I don't dare.
I don't dare, I also don't dare.
Serious topic, Simon, first of all, we all have read in the news what happened to your daughter. I'm very sorry. I think a lot of people have a lot of comments. And I wanted to first express my deepest sympathy. And of course, many of us feel very deeply. But I wanted to ask how you are and how you're coping.
Yeah, so actually there's a lot of news media and all these like company, they ask me whether I want to share, I want to like take their interview, but I rejected all because nothing is going to change anything anymore. So if you were to ask me how am I coping, the truth is this thing, I don't think it will ever heal lah. So I will always need to be coping and adjusting every single day. And I also want to share that during when the news broke out, I'm just like everyone else. When everybody is reading the news of the detail, I'm first time reading the news and the detail also. Because this thing is ongoing investigation, so even as a father, I cannot know the detail of the incident. So I only know through the news article because I didn't attend the court. So just like everyone else, I have anger, I have bitterness, I have a lot of unforgiveness. So, but everyone got their righteous anger, they vent out, they scold the guy, they scold the mother, they scold even me. But I can understand their righteous anger because they read all these details, they are like very angry lah. So, but until today, I haven't vent out my anger because I cannot vent it at home. I need to take care of my mother. I need to be okay in front of them. I need to take care of my elder brother. I need to take care of my wife who is giving birth in another 2 weeks. So I go out also, I cannot vent my anger. So the truth is that I know I need to continue coping every day lah. So it doesn't mean that I'm smiling. I like now I never cry. Then it's not sad. Who won't be sad? Yeah. So it's like that lah. But I know I will be okay lah because life still goes on lah. And I want to turn that tragic story into something positive lah. So that is the reason why I even started shouting out for the message "Say No to Drugs" in the first place. Yeah.
I have to say, no father should have to go through what you went through. When the details were very heartbreaking. Just say I'm very sorry. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same for the little girl as well as for you, and it's horrible. Sorry, I understand when you say you have to, in a way, put up a brave front. Look after your family, move on. But what's going to fill the big hole, the void? It's very tough. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have a message for young people who might be tempted by drugs?
Of course, a message would definitely be always say no to drugs. Don't even try it at all. As you can see, if there's any youths that will come up and question us, I think we are all very open-minded with sharing about our past. Like Noah also, Simon and me, we were all used to be drug abusers, drug addicts as well. So we will share and we will openly share about our past you know, how we used to look like, you know, to let them know how bad drugs can actually harm you lah. So when there are people that come up to us and ask us, or even youths, or even parents who are going through a tough time trying to get help for their kids, we will always try to share on what we can do best to let them avoid these drugs. But we know at the end of the day, there will always be drugs around this world. So what can we do is by shedding light on it, or whoever used to be addicts, you know, share about the story, see you can motivate anybody.
It's a very powerful message.
I think for me is you have to think of your family, because when I mean back then I saw my parents cry in front of me. I think that's the saddest thing that anybody can go through. So I think for me it's just very simple. Just think of your family, and you also don't want them to feel sad for you. And it's not easy during that time. And I'm just happy to move forward and put everything behind.
I think for me, I think my life is a good example of what drugs can do to you. You know, it's not just you alone, but it's a big ripple effect that it will affect your entire family and your loved ones and everyone around you. So even your friends, you know, they are heartbroken to see who you were, then slowly becoming to who you are when you are on drugs. And your behavior and your attitude, all this, you know, so it breaks everybody's heart. And end of the day, it breaks your heart the most because you are the one that is spreading this brokenness to everybody. So I think that don't ever have this, very first thing is that don't ever have this mindset that, you know, I won't be addicted. Because if you try, you will definitely be addicted.
You all start out as fun first. Then it feels good. Then when you feel good, it becomes like a habit. You know, when you want to have fun, or when you feel sad, okay, I'll take this. Or when you feel angry, I'll take this. And then with this constant habit, it will just become an addiction really quick. I think we all experience that.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to say to the youth.
Very powerful message. Thank you.
So, sir, you want to continue to host or?
No, I think you do it better.
So next episode you can join us to do the hosting.
From now onwards, permanent host.
Depends on whether there is.
Oh, we got a fourth host.
Depends on whether there is a GE on.
Okay. So GE, you will be hosting or no? Because you'll be busy, right?
I'm always busy, but GE, you know, people will say, "How come you're here?"
Yeah. Okay. So maybe this time round let me save Minister. Okay. So actually, I want to share something from the bottom of my heart also. Actually, quite some time ago, before I even meet Minister, this is the first time I saw Minister today. Even sometime way back, when Minister know that I'm spreading the message of say no to drugs, he actually passed some message to certain people, and the message reached to me.
He DM you.
No. Minister told pass the message lah. So somebody pass and pass it to me, and he said, "Hey, Minister want to encourage you to continue spreading this message." Wow, I was very happy.
Wow.
Honestly, I was very happy and I'm very honoured lah. You know, I said, "Hey, sure no, Minister Shanmugam know me."
At first, you got think it's a scam.
Hey, and now Minister Shanmugam is here. Like, wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
honestly,
it can't be a scam. You know, I didn't ask him for money.
like very blessed. So Minister, really thank you so much for joining us today. And to start, right, why did you decided to come to our podcast, knowing that we are all ex-offenders?
Oh wow, that's the question leaves me at a loss for words. I mean, I don't know what to say. I didn't think of it like that. Why does it matter? I mean, you show me somebody who's been perfect in his life and who has not made any mistakes. Show me someone. Okay, so that's a starting point. Okay, we make mistakes. Depending on the mistake, there are different kinds of consequences. The key word is ex-offender. It's a question of what you are doing now. Look at what you're doing now. People make mistakes, people get into trouble, some things happen. It's more important, it's important to try and avoid mistakes, but it's more important to see how you can bounce back from that. And in your case, the mistake landed you in trouble with the law. For other people, it may not. But today, you are running a businesses. You are reaching out to young people. You are employing so many people. You are providing them with livelihoods. They are taking care of their families because of you. A lot of young people are tuning in to listen to you, be entertained by you, get your serious messages. And you know, society needs different kinds of people, and society needs people like you who are doing a tremendous service, providing entertainment, social service, providing messages, providing employment jobs, running companies, contributing economically. What's wrong with you? Why should I would say you deserve a lot of respect and honor for the way you're doing it. And I consider it my honor and privilege to be here.
Wow.
有没有？
But after minister say, then I realized, I got do so many things, man.
Even you also don't know.
You see, maybe you've been too stressed already lah, then never think too much.
You just think of all the people you're employing.
Don't say so much, later he say cannot go out the door.
Sometimes it will happen, sometimes I will like that.
Oh, sometimes
Sometimes I will, yeah. But I keep quiet. I still know how to act humble.
Or is it you talking about the 3 cars under your block?
That means he's paid a lot of taxes.
Yeah, this one confirm.
Must check him, must check.
Thank you, Minister. Your presence here today honestly sent a strong message that the government believes in second chances, because we know that honestly you never judge us despite of who we think we are. You know. So could you briefly share what initiative are the government doing right now to support ex-offender in turning their lives around?
You know, this is a key focus for me. Because as I said, when I took over Home Affairs 10 years ago, I said the key is we have tough laws, right? Whether it's drugs or other areas, tough laws, our enforcement system is efficient. In Singapore, if you make a mistake, you breach the law, you're likely to be caught, you're likely to be dealt with, you're likely to face the consequences. But there has got to be a second part, which is in most countries, once you go to jail, that's pretty much the end, because if you go in relatively innocent, the prisons makes you hardcore because of prison experience. And if you see the stats, people who go to prison come out, they go back, keep going back, their lives are gone, right? We call it recidivism. So here we put in a lot of effort to break that cycle. First of all, our tagline for prisons is, we are not people who jail, we are not jailers. Our prisons officers see themselves as captains of lives. They are there to mold you. So in prison, we've a very extensive science-based approach, which we have been putting in place over many years. And I've encouraged prisons to both study the best systems around the world. And I would now say confidently, ours is one of the best, if not the best. I mean, we are a smaller country, so it's easier for us to do things, but I think it's one of the best systems for rehabilitation and a science-based approach. I encourage them to have symposiums, conferences, to exchange ideas, bring in top people to look at our systems. What do? You go in, there are 2 parts to it, right? One is your mental, your confidence. Must boost up the confidence of those inside, must make them believe in themselves. So a lot of psychology-based interventions to help you. Second part is, when you come out, you need relationships, which are family, community, those who are religion. You need to be able to get a job. So skills. So we do a lot of skills training in prisons, so that when you come out, you get jobs. And we work with employers to try and get you jobs when you come out. So a lot of employers sign up the Yellow Ribbon program with our programs. So you get trained in the areas where industries need. So when you come out, we want to make sure there is family support, religious support for those who believe in religion, as well as an additional support, community support. For example, there is a desisters network, ex-offenders who come and support each other, papas, others, community interest groups. They come and they support people, ex-offenders, jobs. And our officers from Home Affairs continue to work with the offenders even after they have left, and we hand over to other agencies. So that is extremely important to take care of people. And if you look at those who get picked up for drugs, 2019 we changed the law. I studied it with my officers and we said we will change the law. Parliament supported it, approved it. So we moved from treating drug offenders. If you have just taken drugs and didn't commit any other crime, we have moved from treating you as a criminal to someone who needs assistance, health assistance, medical assistance. So we try and help you kick the habit. Of course, there is cold turkey. You know, you are kept in the institution, in the DRC. But the approach is try not to have give you a criminal record. Yeah. And then you come out, you come back a second time, third time, we try the same approaches. Really to tell you, try and kick the habit, you know, we will help you. So with all these approaches, the people who come back into prison is much lower compared to the other places. The approach is different. People hold their jobs and we try and support them. Yep. So I think rehabilitation is extremely important and we need to try and help that. But at the same time, you know, young people think that it is harmless, some types of drugs. And they also think, some people say, why are you so tough on traffickers? Is it really harmless? You talked about your own daughter. You know, people forget about the victims. It's not a victimless crime. There are a lot of victims. If you look at the US, and statistics are published since 2020, every year more than 100,000 people die of drug overdose. That's every 14 months more Americans die compared with all their wars from Second World War up to the recent wars. That's a lot of people dying. The last time WHO published a statistic, I think it was 2020, 600,000 people died worldwide from drugs. It's not a victimless crime. You look at your ex-wife, she was on drugs and, you know, looking at the reports, her partner was on drugs, according to the judgment. And part of the reason Megan didn't get the care and wasn't brought to hospital was because of their drug habits and they were worried that they would be found out. But there are many other cases. Thankfully in Singapore, less because of our rules. You have that father who makes his 17-year-old daughter dependent on him, on meth. And as a result, then she's dependent on him, then he has sex with her, incest. She doesn't want to tell anybody because she continues to need the drugs. Look at that. Or a case of Nonoy, I've talked about her stepfather, you know, beats her, even uses her as a shield, carries her around so that CNB won't suspect him. And she died. He was drug traced, and she died. He killed her in one of his rages. That's one type of victims. Sad, cruel. We've reduced it substantially in Singapore because of our tough policies. Don't ever think it's victimless. And your own lives, as you all shared, get affected. Your families get affected. There is another type which people don't think about. Just a few weeks ago, you saw the 7-year-old boy who was killed on the roads in Malaysia, a car accident. The driver on the other side was under the influence of drugs. It's basically driving under influence. You get that too. People driving, people doing things, you know. And what surprises me is who is lighting candles for all these people who are dying as a result of drugs? Don't they deserve to be remembered? So we want to help drug addicts, drug abusers, because we believe in them and we think that they can make a better life. And all of you are testament to that. At the same time, drug traffickers are people who want to make money out of this. They are bringing in drugs into Singapore to take some money, and they don't care what happens to Singaporeans. Yep. They don't care how many people die. And so I want to send the message very clear, very direct. If you're a trafficker, my laws are tough and I make no apologies for it. I will be tough. And I think Singaporeans support that approach.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to talking about death sentence, right, a lot of people, they don't have the courage to say whether they support or not support. But from my point of view, right, coming from my experience and what had happened to me, right, I dare to say very straightforward that I support the death sentence. because my daughter died because of drugs. Then I know maybe the hater will say it's because of you, but I know it's because of the drugs.
Simon, you are in the majority. Because the government has taken a tough approach, and I've gone out and explained our policies. It's really convincing the people throughout the world. The approach is to relax, to make drugs legal, to legalize it, to reduce the sentences. Certainly not the death penalty. In Singapore, we take a completely opposite approach, right? We take a very tough approach, including the death penalty. And guess what? More than 90% of Singaporeans support our laws and our approach on drugs. And in fact, over the last few years, the percentages have actually gone up, the number of people who support, because we are going out there like now, but many other places, we say why we do it, and people can see the results and they can compare. So you have a small group of activists who keeps saying we should abolish the death penalty, but 9 out of 10 Singaporeans support our drug laws. Specific to death penalty, about anywhere between 67 and 75% support our death penalty. So you are in the significant majority now.
That's good to hear.
And one thing I realize is like, even with the death penalty, there are still people bringing in drugs. So can you imagine if
they bring in and then they say, I have a mother, I have a father, I have a sister, I grew up this way, please spare me, I just wanted to make money, I don't care how many Singaporeans die, but and then there are some activists who will say, yeah, please let them go.
Then imagine can you imagine there's no death penalty? Let's say we take it away, I think jialat already.
I think when they bring in the time, they never go and think so much about what are the consequences.
Actually, because of the death penalty and because of our strict laws, I asked my ministry to do a survey in the region, places from where our drug traffickers come. This is very important for your audience to understand and for you to understand. You say these guys don't think, but actually the region from where our drug traffickers come, a lot of people realize that our laws are very tough. In fact, more than 80%, I think 85% or more believe that people don't want to traffic drugs into Singapore because of our death penalty. And they say the death penalty is more effective than life imprisonment. And they said if we don't have the death penalty, more people will come and traffic drugs. Obvious, right?
Yeah, it's obvious.
More people will come in. So they believe all that. So if I removed it, can you imagine the perception will change? Many more people will
try.
And not knowing the law is not an excuse in the first place. So we have to take a tough line. Most people in the region know we are very tough, and that if you're caught with drugs, trafficking, you face the death penalty, and therefore they keep away from Singapore.
Cannot be don't know one. I always travel every month.
The law is famous.
The law is famous. The plane, even the captain will also say, if you are coming to Singapore, please do not bring drugs. So,
For me personally, right, like from the age of 16 until now, right, I think I have near at least 10 plus of my friends started, like they pass away lah. They already passed away lah. 10 over friends, and in the last 4 years, I have about 6 to 7 friends that passed away. And Luke was with me. We went down to a funeral, and the girl was like 20.
Why did they pass away?
Most of them committed suicide because of drugs. Yeah, most of them
Mental.
committed. Yeah, because of the drug effect. So even I personally, I attempted suicide before. So I think that there is a need for a harsh and strict approach when it comes to drugs, because it's really no choice. Like I really been there, and I nearly killed myself also. So I know the consequences of drugs. That's why I think that there is no choice but to be strict on this law. So yeah.
So, Minister, I mean, don't mind if I ask. Drug cases seem to be rising again among our youth. Do you know like what's the problem? Like on why is it becoming more common now?
I would first of all put it in context. I tell many of my audiences, we used to arrest in the 1990s about 6,000 people per year for drugs. It's now come down to we are talking about abusers, maybe about 3,000 plus. So actually it's come down, right? Now, actually it should be going up because Singaporeans have more money to pay for drugs
Okay.
compared with 30 years ago. We travel more, and also there are a lot more drugs available in the region. So if you look at it like that, we are among the few countries, perhaps the only country that is keeping the drug situation under control, right? If you look at it like that. Now, but if you look at the proportions, of course, with social media, the glamorization of drugs on entertainment channels,
Yeah.
TV media, Western TV, Western media, people think it's cool. There is this idea that if you take cannabis, meth, some of these other designer drugs, it doesn't do anything to you, which is all untrue because research shows otherwise. But people take this belief. Famous persons, rappers, artists, musicians, singers, they all take it and therefore it's cool. It's being glamorized. So we are, we have that environment. We are swimming against that tide. So considering all that, we're actually doing quite well in Singapore. But if you look at the mix among about the people who are being arrested, now the median age, that means the age, the middle group is actually coming down. We have picked up boys as young as 13, unfortunately. And if you look at under 30, almost half of those arrested are under 30. So yes, younger people are getting into it. Overall numbers, we are doing okay, but we can do more on education. And so we are working very closely with Ministry of Education, the other ministries. We also came out with, I told you just now, people hold candlelight vigils for the drug traffickers who are bringing in to make some money and don't care about Singaporeans who die. But we think we ought to remember the victims, the people who die as a result of drugs, consuming drugs. So we have a Drug Victims Remembrance Day in May. We started it last year. It brought the mind share and a lot of people understood it. We spoke about it in Parliament, and we are doing many things like that to try and get young people as well as everyone else to understand so that we can as a society fight against drugs.
That's very nice. Yeah. So would you have any advice to give to parents or school on how they can help keep these harmful drugs away from their kids?
Parents are the first and most important line. Who knows a child better than the parents, right? So you know your child, you know what's happening with the child, you ought to take a keen interest and guide. And if parents give the right guidance, most of the problems get solved. Then the second line of defense for a young person is, of course, the school. Schools, teachers are seeing them every day. They can understand, they can realize whether the child needs more assistance and link up with the parents, which is why we are working very closely with Ministry of Education. We also try and bring the messages across to parents. What is our most precious asset? It's not what we own, but it's our children.
I also agree, and I feel that parents have to be strict also when it comes to drugs. So for me, I have a single mom, but throughout my teenage years, I've been touching drugs, and my mom, I felt that she has been very, how do I say, very soft on me. Like whenever she catches me taking drugs or what, she wouldn't call the police, which also, I feel it led me down for harder and deeper drugs, which led me to methamphetamine. So it went downhill from there.
She probably thought that she can, by talking to you, make it easier. She doesn't want to see her son in, in prison. What she didn't realize, what we need to get the message across is that actually that would have helped you better.
This thing I really is the exact sentiment as what I went through, because I'm on 16 years on drugs, 16 until 32. So at the age of near 30, right, I actually was crying and I was breaking down. I was begging my mother. I say, can you call the police on me? But you see that brokenness in my mother's eyes, right? Is that she loved me so much, she cannot do that. And then, but I understand what you're talking about.
She cannot bear to call the police on her son because
she cannot bear. And
I don't think any parent would bear.
Yeah, but at that time, I think that it would have
helped.
It would have helped
right?
helped me in a certain way. Maybe not that sentence. Maybe I might need to go through another few because of my own mentality or my mindset. But it will help me. I feel it will help me. Yeah.
It would have helped.
Yeah. Because I have many, like I said, I have many friends that passed away, committed suicide. Honestly, I would rather my kids is in prison than committing suicide because
You know,
of drugs.
your message is a powerful one. You asked me why did I agree to come here. I told you it's how you bounce back. It's a pity so many of your friends have died.
Yeah.
You know, that could have been your fate too, or any of your fates. But you overcame, and today you are successful, and you are a role model. So remember that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I will continue to do my best.
Yes.
Minister, you say so much. His head really cannot go out the door.
My idol say I very happy what. Minister Shan is my idol.
Every week you tell
Bro, you
say
made it. A
different-
minister
different idol,
say
yeah.
like this to you. Wow, you made it, bro. Wow.
Yeah, two of you too, not just him.
Okay, now okay also cannot go out the
Wow,
door.
now I
they-
go out,
they
wow,
also
my
are,
hand
they
will
also
start
are,
flying
Minister.
on. Minister,
No,
You think only you special lah.
Minister, I see first, maybe after this episode, right, I go outside and walk. Maybe my hand might not be as...
You can swing.
I'm gonna start swinging already because Minister say, hey, proud
Won't
of
be
us,
by
eh."
your side lah. Won't be by your side.
So, Minister, I also want to ask, you know, what do you think like more that the public can do to, you know, ex-offenders so that we can feel supported and accepted?
We have to move away from this mindset, this fellow's a drug offender, you know, to, okay, he's made a mistake, but he is out here. What can we do to support? I mean, if there's nothing you can do, at least don't run them down. Treat them as, you know, respectable, and be civil, be nice. You know, we are human beings. We need to be nice to each other, respect each other, and encourage them to succeed. Do whatever they want to fulfill their potential.
I think I want to chime in on this because I think why I can go so far until now is because of the support from everyone around me also. Because I think support system is very important in our life. Like if you as an offender, if you come out of wherever you came from, and then there's no one to support you or no one to encourage you to do better, then it's only a matter of time before you know.
Imagine
go
when
back.
you come out of prison, the people waiting outside the prison are the people who got you into trouble in the first place. You know, your chances of surviving through and carrying on is not very high.
Well, I'm very lucky to have met people who are very supportive and you know, for like my fellow Singaporeans, I feel that when I go out in public, the time when I was still fresh nobody really have the face of like, wow, you know, you did this before. I think generally the public has been pretty encouraging and they have been very nice. So just thanks.
Because I feel that for Noah's case, he was at his peak of his career at the beginning phase. Like he was, Our Boys to Men, and like shot up to fame, then suddenly he was caught for like drug consumption. I cannot imagine like what is going through your mind, when you come out. Do you expect that, or you assume that most of the public will go against you?
I mean, honestly, like when I was inside, I already have this thought like, I don't think I can continue in being in this line anymore because
you gonna cancel already.
Yeah, this day, I'm dead. I got think like go and do other job already. But I mean, very thankfully when I came out, I got a lot of support from people. And like people like Director Jack Neo, Irene Ang, they all give me opportunity, they give me another chance, and even Mindef also I have to say like they came
because
in
they allow
and,
you to shoot the movie, right?
Yeah, and it was from there that I start to build back up again to where I am now. Yeah.
Because I feel that sometimes if we don't show a little bit of support, the ex-offender might go back to his old ways because it's like, hey, there's
Nothing
nobody
to look
supporting.
forward.
There's nothing.
If every day I tell you, say you cannot, you confirm cannot.
I will think that cannot. I'll
You
just
cannot make it, means daily cannot make it. That's why you need family, you need, as I said, religion, you need job, you need community support, you need your, whoever was in business with you to come and support you. And government tries to help by getting all these people to come together.
Yeah. New Carey's mission, my community.
New Carey's mission.
Yeah, the halfway house. The one that's helped me a lot and helped a lot of ex-offender, drug abuser also.
Yeah, so support really
They
important.
are good.
Yeah, is it? Well, minister also know.
So, Minister, I want to ask you, because you're a minister for law, right? What's your thoughts on the recent case, on Chia Boon Teck's public comment as a lawyer?
I want to be careful what I say because, I think the defendant who was found guilty hasn't been sentenced yet. So, and, there may be an appeal later on. So, I try and avoid commenting on the facts of the case. To me, what was of concern and why I put up a, position is this. I'm a law minister, and a part of the government policy has been, over the years, to really improve the position of women because they were in a much weaker position in the law. What do I mean? There used to be one law which said that if the case is going on, say sexual assault or rape, let's say rape, you are the victim. You say you are the victim, you have been raped, you come to court. The lawyer can cross-examine you on all the other people you have had sex with. Were you having sex with this person, that person? Proof that you are a quote-unquote loose woman. And if they can prove that, then they say you cannot be believed in this case. I said, hey, this is nonsense, right?
When was this law?
This law has always been in our books from the British Times. So I said, this is nonsense, right? Because the question is whether in this case, the girl gave consent. She said no or she consented. If she consented, there is no rape. You are entitled to cross-examine her very hard on the case, but you're not entitled to cross-examine her on how many other people she has slept with. That's none of your business. Unless you show direct relevance to the facts. You can't say she's a loose woman and therefore you cannot believe her. So I said to my officers, we must change this law. We changed, Parliament agreed, taken out of the books. And then, if you are a husband, wife, previously husband can force himself on you, have sex, and you can't say no, and you can't say rape. We changed the law. So there is no more immunity. If the wife says no, your husband has got to respect. Recently, there were reports last year about a man who was charged and convicted. In many ways we have changed these laws. We also put in a framework as to what kind of cross-examination. You can't ask her about appearance or what kind of skirt she wore and all that, unless you show that it's directly relevant to the case. You can't go on a general fishing expedition. Year by year, police set up a separate command with officers who are trained to be sensitive in the way they can. Because, woman says sexual assault, she comes into reports to the police. You want people who understand the trauma and be sensitive. Secondly, in the past, you would have to go to the hospital, you had to go to the police, and then you had to come to court again and testify. We put up what's called a one safe center, one place where you get medical examination, the police talk to you, so you only talk about it once. Even that testimony sometimes can be used in court, and if you don't feel like facing your attacker, you are given protection so that you don't have to see the attacker when you give evidence. So I can go on, but the philosophy, the trend in all these cases is, the situation the government has been doing is to protect victims of sexual assault, encourage them to come forward. The big problem is victims don't come forward. They are worried. They are worried about being shamed. They are worried about people blaming them. They are worried as to what the lawyer is going to do to them. So we want to put a framework. Doesn't mean that you whatever you say is automatically accepted. It has to be proven beyond reasonable doubt, because the consequences for the defendant, the accused, are very serious in Singapore. Caning, long jail term, career gone, everything gone, during that period. So my worry when I read his comments was that this will set our efforts back. Other victims may be, hey, as Vice President of the Law Society is saying this. No doesn't mean no. So a woman says no, well, actually she didn't really mean no. That is something I don't understand. And no means no, So, and that she's an actress, so what? Actress means what? She's loose, or she is automatically not to be believed? Not quite sure what he was saying, but I'm worried about other actresses, others in the entertainment industry, feeling that maybe they are less likely to be believed. So here I would say the judgment, the facts are there, the judge will decide on the sentencing. But the reason I intervened was to set out clearly the government's position and to make sure that other victims are not, feel frightened about coming forward.
Yeah, I think most of them face shame lah. Then they have a lot of worries and all these kind of things. Yeah, not easy for them.
I can imagine that you deal with very difficult decisions every single day.
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you share like one particularly tough decision that you have to make as a minister?
I think coming here and answering your questions. I would say this, you see, one of the good things about being in public service in Singapore is that the framework is there. If you're competent and you're prepared to put in the effort, our civil service is one of the best in the world. They present you, they do thorough analysis, they present you with the options. Our environment is not so politicized. So you can make your decisions thinking what is in Singapore's interest, what is in the interest of Singaporeans in the long term, medium and long term, without having to worry about too much about, is this going to mean that I might lose the next election or win the next elections? Whereas in Singapore, we are able to make our decisions thinking, how is this going to impact Singaporeans in 10 years, 15 years? And as long as we get it right and the results are there, then Singaporeans will understand. So we have thankfully a framework here. I'm not saying it is set in law, but that's how it has worked. And so you can sit there, analyze carefully in a very cool way, looking at all the facts which are presented to you, and then you make your judgment calls. Sometimes they're not easy, judgment calls are judgment calls. That means there's no clear right and wrong. You are making an assessment based on judgment calls. So all of them are tough. And sometimes not just that the process is tough, the decisions you have to make are what I would call tough decisions. But in the end, if you believe that it's in the best interest of the country, best interest of the people, you do it. So I wouldn't be able to point to a single specific thing, but as Home Affairs Minister and as Law Minister, there are many things that we put up. But it's public. We go into Parliament, we explain, we stand up. If we are right, we are judged. If we are wrong, we are judged too. And people can see whether our explanation makes sense or doesn't make sense.
It's also like a trial and error kind of thing.
Hopefully not too much trial and error, because you see, your decisions affect the lives of Singaporeans. And so you have to get it right all the time on the major things. And sometimes, doesn't mean that you will always be right on everything, but the major things you have to get it right, otherwise people get affected. So you need to be careful. And you cannot take decisions that may, if you are wrong, may completely be damaging to society. You need to be careful. You need to structure it such that the negative consequences are, avoided. Secondly, in the process after that, you look back, or you say, maybe I could have done this slightly differently, the result could have been better. Yeah, so you do post-mortem. It doesn't mean you don't make errors, but you've got to make sure that the consequences of your errors are not serious. And you need to get it right almost all the time.
Okay, so when it comes to making tough decisions, you said along the lines of like, you have to make sure that the right decision is the right one. So how do you actually know that?
This is what I mean. Let me say, there are options given to you, or take this way or take the other way. You have to look at the analysis, read through carefully. Okay, I agree with this assessment, or I agree with the other assessment, which route to take. But I said, no one, we are not gods. We are not people who can foresee the future. What if I get it wrong? So you also got to say, this is my assessment, judgment, but what happens if I'm wrong? What are the consequences? You got to assess the consequences. Then you got to make the decision, maybe change it a little bit to make sure that you go down this route, but take care that if you are wrong, the consequences are not so serious, because this affects the lives of people. People's lives can be very badly damaged if you get it wrong, and serious consequences. So you always got to assess the consequences, and this is where you need to work closely with your civil servants to make sure you put a floor below so that the consequences are not serious if you get it wrong. But you got to try and get it right most of the time. Some, as I said, the decision may be right, but sometimes the way it is implemented, sometimes the results are not as good as you wanted. So you go back and you relook at it and you change and you tweak things along. That's fine, everybody, that's normal, because the world also changes, the environment might change. Sometimes your decisions are correct, you have worked out the consequences, but suddenly the environment has changed. So how do you make sure? It's complex, but it's no different from, in a way, it's no different from decision making by anyone else, whether running a company like y'all, whether it's a big or small company. All of us have to make decisions, and we also have to think of the consequences. It is just that as a minister, if you get it wrong, the consequences are far more serious and affects more people.
So Minister, you have came to our podcast, and I think that through this podcast we can say like we are friends, right?
I
you
think so.
Can ask
I think
for
we
your
were friends
WhatsApp?
even before that.
Yeah, can ask for your WhatsApp number.
I will give it to you. I'll give it to you.
You give it to me?
Really?
But don't expect me to respond, because I don't have time.
No, Minister, I just want to have your number. I won't message you.
Won't message
in
you.
my heart, I feel like I achieved something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Then
give
we
it
have
to
your
you.
number.
He said, hey, his number is 999.
Don't give me office number.
Hey, don't play. Hey, Minister got 4 bodyguard now. I tell you. Cannot play.
Before you call already, bodyguard at your house.
Yeah, no, bodyguard straight come already.
Okay, so Mr. Looking back at your time in government, can you tell me what achievement or what moment makes you the most proud? Can you please say coming to Rise and Shine podcast?
Wow, that would be great.
Hey, don't provoke the Minister.
I said that's probably one of the most difficult decisions, particularly when you said, I have to be the host in the beginning, Rise and Shine. I got to, say, I think I probably look very awkward when I said that. Not my style or suit. But in terms of decisions, maybe I share, there are many years, 17 years in government, there are many, and we, in a very short summary, I would say, one, we talked about women and all the changes we made. I feel very, that's one of the things that gives me satisfaction, I would say, that you can actually think through and make people's lives better, create a different framework, completely, I won't say completely change, but change substantially the framework. But one example of that is our divorce laws. Previously, divorce, you go to the lawyers, many pages of affidavits, she did this, I did this, husband did this, wife did this, all sorts of things, allegation after allegation. It's non-productive. It makes the relationship even worse. I mean, relationship is already non-existent, but it makes it even more sour, and then it affects the children, and a lot of money is spent on divorce. We have roughly about 9,000 divorces a year. So I said, look, what are the three things that matter? First, in a divorce, first is the relationship at an end. By the time they are in the divorce courts, it's likely it's an end. We try mediation, but we try and counsel, but if it's over, it's over. So is that over? That's the first question. Second question, what to do with the money? Assets and maintenance. Third question, what to do with the children, which is the most important question. How do you make sure the children, at least the next generation, are not affected? So I sat with the team, said, let's change our divorce laws, make it fast track. Women have come to see me to say, Minister, I earn $5,000. I've got 3 kids. The divorce is not over yet and I've already spent $40,000. And every time there is a hearing, I have to go to court, I have to take leave. And then I'm also looking after my children. Every time they fall sick, I have to take leave. So my employer is now saying, maybe I should leave my job. So, women often face these situations. We changed the law completely. We say affidavits now cannot and shouldn't go into the past. You just explain to me whether the marriage is over. Usually you can say it in 1 page. Is it over? It doesn't matter who did what, but is it over? Tell me in 1 page what the assets are, with maybe some exhibits, and tell me what you want to do with the children. We bring in experts. Now it simplifies. The cost is substantially reduced, and about 2/3, about 5,000 divorces a year now go through the simplified track. Much less costly, much less abrasive. The friction is not so great. We have experts to look at the children, and the parties have some form of closure without having to fight so much. This is what we are trying to do. It gives me a great deal of satisfaction. I'm trying to do some more in that area. Second area I would say is the entire field of rehabilitation we spoke about. It gives me a great deal of satisfaction to see how much has been done both in the law, the legal framework, and in prisons, the correction system, and in the community support system. We bring in, as I say, religious institutions, community partners, SANA, interest groups, desisters network, everyone come many hands together to support. You come out, there are many hands to hold you up. And families, we constantly talk to the families to say, give support. So these are real impact on lives. So I would say, I can go on. I've mentioned 2. Also, in a slightly different way, if you look at other countries in the West, one of the big things that is happening is societies are tearing apart. On racial identity, on religious identity, on violence, on culture wars, on sexuality, many, many fights. They are deep ruptures. Whereas in Singapore, over the period of time, we have put in one law after another. Racial harmony, now we have law. I just took it through Parliament. Religious harmony, we amended it, make sure it's quite tight. Try and prevent people attacking each other based on race, religion. Take a very tough approach. Try and create conditions which promote harmony. Of course, the laws can only tell you what you cannot do. But what you can do, we need other policies. And sexual identity, at least we don't have the culture wars that we have in other places. We try and prevent it. We prevent the violence. We keep Singapore safe. So that gives me satisfaction, looking at the state of society. I won't say we have reached the end goal or we are a perfect society, but at least I think I can say we are different from many other places and hopefully better. So that's how I would put it.
Thanks for sharing your views. So I just have one important question because I feel after listening to you speak, I feel very motivated. And I think we all are too.
Same.
Yeah. So I think what we want to ask is how to become a minister like you. Yeah. Because if I want to form party, I will call it after party.
First, you need to go and get elected. You got to stand for elections.
No, I need what? Qualification.
The key thing is you need to persuade your residents that there is something you can contribute by helping them, and you have something to contribute in Parliament.
I think
So
are,
you got to ask.
Yeah, you might be quite persuasive sometimes.
I think I have
Because
some
when you take the
resident,
chopper, sometimes you'll be quite persuasive.
I have some resident. I have some resident.
What reason?
I know, like my neighborhood, I know
So
some.
you need to persuade, then you need to show that you can run a ministry.
You can or not?
I think I can. Because Minister, just now you praise me, you say like, I help a lot of
You see?
people.
Wow,
I help
he
a lot
all
of
the way
things.
gonna say this already.
So you boost my confidence already. Now I feel like very encouraged.
Helping people is important. To run a ministry, you also need to get the confidence of your civil servants. They got to put forward ideas, and you got to decide among the different ideas. All of them look good. Which one is suitable? And remember, I said you got to get it right most of the time. In fact, almost all the time. So that is something only you can decide. You need to assess, and then you got to persuade Singaporeans that you have the capability. I'm not saying you can or cannot, but those are the qualities that one needs.
But
a bit hard,
brother, but you are not calm.
complicated.
You're not calm.
I'm calm.
You're
I'm
not calm.
cool.
You cannot be calm.
I have the coolness.
you have
cool, but you are
Coolness.
not calm. You're not calm.
I'm calm. What? You see the way I talk to you all, like.
Now because you're acting,
Can we imagine Simon?
You said you were scared of me. Maybe that's why you're.
At first, no. Who is not? Honestly, okay. To all the viewers, are you all scared of like
No.
Minister Shan?
No.
I'm scared.
Like.
I was nervous.
Nervous,
nervous.
nervous.
I was
They all
really
ask
nervous.
me before you reach.
Yeah.
They say, hey, y'all nervous or not?
I was the most nervous, man. Wow. So, Minister, with a final question that we always ask our guests, this question will be, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Your questions are all so cheap.
More difficult than the parliament.
answer all the cheap question already. Then you say this one.
This one is cheap. Wow.
Okay. Again, I have a personal level, an official level. Personal level, what makes me happy? I don't know what makes me happy, but I'll tell you what makes me satisfied. It's a very simple thing. To be able to wake up on a Saturday morning and go out, have a cup of coffee, and read something with perspective, not current news, but news magazines and books that I set aside that makes me think for 3-4 hours without having to look at my emails, without having to attend events, without having to do anything, just 3-4 hours for myself. But that helps me recharge. Then I'm able to face the world and my duties again. People around me have noticed that I've become a little bit more irritable because I haven't had that for many months now. Okay? But at say at a different level, say as a minister, what makes me happy is just to wake up when I go out in Singapore, looking at the situation, the normalcy. We take normalcy, the day-to-day life for granted, but it's not like this in most other places. Our children can go out. Again, I'm sorry, I'm touching on the subject of children, but most children, a 10-year-old takes public transport, we don't worry. You don't get drugs in schools, mostly. I mean, if you really try hard enough, I'm sure people can go and find, but it's not easy to get. Your child is not recruited to become a drug trafficker. You don't have shootings and killings and muggings around street corners. 95% of women feel safe walking home alone at night. So Singapore, it feels normal, it feels safe, people go about doing what they want to exercise, they want to go out, they want to have fun. You can do, without having to worry. Things work. So it's not a sexy thing. To say things work is not a very sexy thing. It's normal. But that normality is very unusual. And when I see that, I feel a sense of satisfaction. Because I'm not saying I'm responsible for it all. I feel a sense of satisfaction that I'm able to live in this kind of place. And I feel a sense of satisfaction that I contribute in a small way to it. Of course, many others, the thousands of men and women in the police force, in the security services, the government framework of laws, the people in charge of the economy, our citizenry, our active citizenry, everybody contributes. We all contribute. So there's a sense of satisfaction.
Thank you so much, man, Minister.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Minister. Yeah.
your presence today, and thank you for sharing the insight with us. And most importantly, from my bottom of my heart, I really appreciate your outreach and your concern for me during the lowest time. I really appreciate and I will not forget this. And I also want to take this opportunity to promise you and assure you that I will continue to spread this message of say no to drugs, and I will not. I will do this until the very last breath of my life.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
We have
you,
come
Simon.
to the end of this podcast.
Yes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, make sure to share to your friends and families, your partners, grandmother, grandfather, dog, cat, all you go and share. Okay, and remember to
Follow us on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes,
Follow
please.
Minister Shanmugam on
Yes.
Instagram also for daily updates.
Confirm will see Minister one, but thank you so much, Minister. Already.
Thank you, and I'll give you my number.
Oh!
Minister, I will see you in Parliament.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.